Hi everyone. Um, I've been holding on to this message that I believe God has planted in my heart, but I wasn't sure if I wanted to share this or if God wanted me to share this. But then, obviously, our president announced a further 2 weeks of lockdown, um, and I just knew that, I need to get this message out, even if it only touches one heart and maybe gives courage to one person, then that would be enough. So I think you will all agree with me that we are facing giants. We are standing in front of a wall that looks impossible to breach. On Tuesday morning, I woke up and the first thing that popped into my mind was verse 9 of chapter 1 of Joshua. Now, I've read this verse many times before, but I could not remember what it said. So obviously, I opened up my Bible to read the verse, and a lot of you will know what it says, but I'll read it again. It says, "Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid, do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go." I just smiled. Let me tell you how great God is. A few years back, I bought a book called Battle Ready, Prepared to be Used by God. I read the book, but I never finished it. My Bible was lying on this book for months, probably years, um, because I was going to read it again, but I never did. But here's the kicker. This book is written around the story and the bravery of Joshua and Caleb. Now, call this coincidence, call it made up, call it whatever you want. I believe that God spoke to me and He wanted me to share this message of hope in this difficult time. So, the book of Joshua describes the takeover of Canaan by the Israelites, specifically the city of Jericho. What is interesting about the story is the following. So, Moses sent out 12 chosen men from Israel, the best of the best, the leaders of the tribes. They were to go on a reconnaissance mission to Canaan, and you can obviously read about this in the book of Numbers. On their return, the message was that it is indeed the land of milk and honey. However, this came with a but from 10 of the 12 men. They explained to Moses that there are giants. They explained that the cities are well fortified with high and very strong walls. We can never defeat them, they said. Only two people had a different opinion, and they were Caleb and Joshua. And the reason they had a different opinion is because their focus was different. Caleb and Joshua focused on God. They also saw the well fortified cities, they saw the giants, and man, they were probably also afraid. But they focused on God. They held on to the promise that God made to them when they left Egypt. Now, in the book of Numbers, chapter 14, it describes how the whole of Israel got so scared and panicked after these men came back from their reconnaissance and they started spreading rumors around the tribes about the giants and the high walls and how they were never going to be able to defeat them, that they got so scared that they rather wanted to go back to Egypt. They even threatened to stone Joshua and Caleb in verse 10, because Joshua and Caleb said, let's go now. God is with us. He's already won the battle for us. We can defeat them, and we will defeat them. Then God spoke to Moses and said in verse 11 and 12, "How long will these people treat me with contempt? How long will they refuse to believe in me, in spite of all the signs I have performed among them? I will strike them down with a plague and destroy them, but I will make you into a nation greater and stronger than they." So then things didn't go so well for the Israelites for a while. The 10 men who was with Joshua and Caleb on the reconnaissance mission, but who then spread the rumors amongst the tribes, they all died. Eventually, God appoints Joshua as the leader of the Israelites. This was when Moses passed away. So before Moses dies, he says the following in Deuteronomy 31 verse 6 to 8. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified because of them, for the Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Then Moses summoned Joshua and said to him in the presence of all of Israel, Be strong and courageous, for you must go with this people into the land that the Lord swore to their ancestors to give them, and you must divide it among them as their inheritance. The Lord himself goes before you and will be with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Do not be afraid, do not be discouraged. Then God himself again confirms to Joshua in chapter 1 verse 9. Have I not commanded you, be strong and courageous, do not be afraid, do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. What was even more amazing to me after doing some further reading and research is that it was Easter time before the Israelites invaded the mighty city of Jericho. Of course, we are in Easter now. Is this coincidence? I don't think so. I think we all know what happened next. Joshua and the Israelites marched around the city of Jericho each day for 6 days, and on the 7th day they did a few more rounds around the city, and then the mighty walls of Jericho came down. Now they still had the giants to conquer, which they did. So why this message now? Well, I believe that God is saying to us, this virus, the state of the economy, the fear of the unknown, all these things are our giants, our walls of Jericho. And like me, you can be uncertain, even afraid sometimes. Or we can turn our focus to God and stop doubting that He is the Almighty God, just like Joshua and Caleb did. While everyone else were panicked and afraid, they focused on God. They believed in Him. He is the biggest giant of all, the only giant we should be fearing. God is not saying to us to be courageous. He is commanding us to be courageous. I looked up the Hebrew meaning of courageous and found the following. It says it means the willingness to take action. God is saying, be willing to take action in faith that I have given the enemy in your hands, but you must be willing to go to battle with me. So let's trust Him and have faith. He did conquer the death. Why would He not be able to help us to defeat this virus and come out the other side stronger and take our rightful place in the land of milk and honey? He wants us to prosper. Don't be afraid, be courageous. May this Easter remind us that we serve a giant who rose from the dead and lives within us. We don't have to be afraid of a virus. We don't have to be afraid of what's going to happen to the economy. We must just trust Him and focus on Him. I hope you have a good Easter and enjoy the time with your families.